Hello.
Hi, hello.
Hello. I'm
Hey,
not too loud.
no, sound fine. What's up?
Okay, Destiny, you goddamn you mischaracterized completely my goddamn email. You
What did
got
I don't even think I mentioned much about it. What?
Yeah, oh my god, dude. Oh yeah, this guy, he said, okay, he has he has good reasons to kill himself. No.
Not well,
What?
okay, I'm not okay. No, it wasn't that. It was basically you saying that like there's like you can make like logically consistent, epistemically valid arguments for suicide or something, right?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. It's
But
the
I
same.
just don't you got the chat thinking, yeah, like, you
Listen.
talk
The
with
only
me,
people that
it's gonna
explore this shit are people that want to kill themselves anyway. Okay, let's be real.
Yeah,
Okay, go
yeah.
ahead.
True. Okay, well, anyways, yeah, this is it's kind of surreal, like sitting with you now.
Yeah. Well,
But anyways, I'm basically just
Shut
like
the
a
fuck up,
long
Lupin,
time
alright? It's a
lurker,
stupid fucking meme.
and
Exclamation
yeah,
mark
I
due.
just like I told you in the email, I really enjoy your content, and I think your your logic with all the tipping that ensues is like very consistent. So I guess I wanted to run some thoughts through your logic. Yeah.
go
So
for it. Do you want to
yeah.
introduce yourself? I guess so people have like a general idea of like who you are, what you're here for. Just so.
Yeah. Basically, I'm 25. I live in Denmark. And yeah, that's just it. Like, I basically just want to talk to you about like existential suicidality, I guess, as I called it
Okay.
in the email. Like a few disclaimers I want to put out there, because I remember your when you talked about like your friend. I don't remember, was it in high school or something like that?
No, it was a little after when I was out of college.
Yeah, but I didn't want, that to happen, like that optic of like, oh, Destiny is talking to this guy, and because he has like, he's like going into the actual discussion, and not like tiptoeing around it, like that would somehow like result in me killing myself. Like, this is very like, what would you call it? It's very removed from myself in a way, because like I have like other reasons to feel like ending it. But like, yeah, I just wanted to like put it out there that like I really I really don't want anyone to put anything on Destiny. You know, chat, everybody out there, clippers, anyone, no. So yeah. So as a preface, I just wanted to put it out there, some things to consider
Mhm.
in the discussion. Like, I already emailed you all the things and shit, but just to the stream. I'm diagnosed with autism, basically.
Mhm.
Big surprise. And I've battled a multi-year-long depression,
Mhm.
and I've been on antidepressants, and I am what I would call a feelings-based. Like, I have a feelings-based personality. So like, I think I think I would fall into the camp of, as much as I hate it, kind of, Hassan and shit. Like,
Sure.
I could
Yeah,
I
that's
could
fine.
probably be very like persuaded by feelings based argumentation.
Mhm.
Yeah. I guess that's the introduction.
Okay.
Yeah. So I wrote to you like the purpose of life, but I think what I meant more was like the purpose of existence.
Okay.
Um, and what I feel like there, again, the feelings based. is that when you put it all together, existence comes to a minus, so to speak. It all comes down to to a in the red, so to speak, right? Like it basically like if you put all the stuff that happens around us, um, to ourselves, to other people and such, that in the end it doesn't really seem like, yeah.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I
um,
don't agree so far, but I
yeah.
understand what you're saying. Sure.
I know. Like that's also something I wanted to touch on is I like again like I'm obviously like this is like very one-sided. Like I've watched you for a bunch of years,
Hmm.
so like if I say anything to on your belief
Hmm.
model that isn't correct, you can just like instantly like you know interrupt me.
Sure.
But like as I understood it like long ago, you're basically like you focus mostly on like what's good for you yourself, right?
Hmm.
Like that so called, I hope you can hear the quotation marks through my mic
Yeah,
here,
yeah,
but
good.
like egotistical, like I don't like it, like it boils down to it, yes, if you like take it like that. But yeah, but my personality is like where my belief system kind of differs in that, and I hope that's where we can kind of find the disagreement perhaps. Is I build myself very much up on other people's happiness. So like if like I am extremely affected by, if I hear some dumb shit happening around the world, or more personally,
Hmm.
it it very much, what would you say, like
It
affects
has an
me
emotional impact on
personally.
you. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I realize that's it's not exactly very healthy,
Hmm.
to exist in that kind of mindset. But I don't know.
Hmm.
It's just, it's what I've grown up with, I guess. Yeah. And so yeah, I'm kind of freaking out here. So maybe you can like carry me a bit
Sure.
through the yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess like so. The very first thing you say is that you feel like existence is a net negative. I mean, there's two
Hmm.
concepts we can talk about right now. One is the existence being a net negative, and one is like letting world affairs bother you. Um,
Yeah.
the second one is easy, kind of. Well, logically it's easy, but emotionally it might be more difficult. I'm not sure. Have you ever heard
Yeah.
of fuck, I wish I could remember the name of a guy, but he posits this idea of compassion being superior to empathy. Have you ever heard of this before?
Um, I think so, but like
Yeah, so
I,
basically the
honestly,
idea is
yeah.
that like empathy is exhausting and unreasonable to demand from a human being when it comes to world affairs. Having empathy for everything is like impossible because it exhausts your human emotional facility or faculty like very quickly. Like there's so much horrible
Yeah.
like fucked up shit that goes on around the world that if you have like a personal empathetic connection to everything, it just fucks you over like super hard. Compassion is something where we can understand that something is bad and something is fucked up, and maybe if we feel like we need to, we can try to take steps to change that. But empathy for like global issues is just not good. Empathy should be reserved probably for people close around you that you can have like a direct impact over.
Mm,
Now that's like
yeah.
that's like a logical like what you should do, of course. Maybe emotionally a
Yeah.
little bit harder to feel, but it's something to keep in mind, I guess. Um,
Yeah.
in terms of existence being a net negative, I guess it, like commonly what you'll hear for people that feel like they're suicidal is that basically, yeah, more or less kind of what you're saying is that like life isn't really a net positive. There might be like highlights in their particular life, but the overwhelming amount of life taken in totality is just kind of like a net negative. Something that we should
Mm,
we should be able to acknowledge is that like this means that something is probably broken in terms of either how we relate to the world or how our minds are working, right? Like humans have existed for hundreds of thousands of years, I think, and animals in general have existed for millions and millions of years. And your default state of existence shouldn't be wanting to not exist, right? Like that's not really what we're built as. It doesn't make any sense to us to think we'd be built that way, right? We should probably be built to want to survive and want to go on. And if something is missing there, then there's probably something broken. Do you agree with that so far?
Yeah, definitely. Like objectively, if like we say, what would you say, like biologically, like my brain isn't supposed to be wired like this.
Yeah.
No one's brain is supposed to like wire to a negative like
default state.
outcome. Like definitely.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess at that point, that if we feel like that's the case, that we probably shouldn't have like an overwhelmingly negative view of our existence, but we feel like we are anyways, then it seems like we should probably take steps to remedy that. That's the feeling that I get, right? There's the oft-cited, there's this often quoted thing that like suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. I mean, if you go the suicide route, then you kind of never basically address any of the underlying issues. I mean, it's a way to escape kind of the downs, but then obviously you cut off any potential future ups as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's kind of how.
Well, like, nope. Sorry.
No problem.
I don't know if you heard that. I guess my like I don't know if I want to call the counter, because there's not really any counter.
Don't worry about that terminology.
It's basically like maybe like there's a few things. So one is the hundreds of thousands of years, like history of like the human race, and like why, like of course if we're supposed to be wired like this, we would like over time of course die out, because we would all kill ourselves. And I guess to that point, I can like that. Yeah, you're completely right, of course, because what did you call it? Like there's something wrong, right?
Yeah, something must be like broken or off or something.
Yeah. Like real quick, also, I just want to put it out there that like I am getting psychological mental help
Counseling,
from my just like again, I can't help but like put out the disclaimers here that I really don't mean to put like Destiny here in the position of like
fine. Don't worry about
it. To the what was the final
that like
thing?
that's our
I'm sorry.
default state probably shouldn't be that we're suicidal. That if it is, something probably is wrong or broken. Otherwise, it doesn't seem to be consistent with humans surviving this long. Right?
Yeah. Like that's definitely correct. Like I think on the like social level, like if we're just talking like social engineering, right? Like of course something is very wrong when we have all these statistics of like young people being depressed and shit. Something seems to be very wrong there. But I don't know. I like there's a discussion to be had there about the suicidality in that area, but yeah. I just don't know if I am equipped to do that, because like I like basically I'm 25 and I'm doing my college level degree in Denmark, like on the so like I'm not at all equipped to like talk about like I haven't read anything, so I really don't think I can like.
Well, I mean, like we
very
don't.
much.
This isn't even really something we have to like hardcore debate. Like I think we could. This is one of those very few things where I think we could probably just assume it's like self-evidently true. That if humans' natural state were to be suicidal, it seems like we probably wouldn't make it very far, right? Or there might be some very weird arguments you can make where maybe once we've had tons of children and we're like old, maybe then it makes sense to be suicidal because you conserve resources or something strange like that. But it doesn't sound like you're very old with grandchildren or anything, so that's probably not the case as well, right?
Yeah, basically. Like, I think, like, I'll like, I think, I, I'm just, sorry to like
Yeah, no, you're
stutter
fine.
like this, but I'm just kind of trying to formulate how I wanna like put this out there. Okay, so like basically, if we're talking about the like social level, right? I totally get I actually I'm completely convinced that I can do some good. I already do that because like I have like friends that rely a lot on me. I have a like my sister has a nephew that really looks up to me. So like in that sense, I already like I have plenty of value that I like you can
Offer to other people,
that I
yeah.
can yeah. So in that sense, I do feel like I'm completely fulfilled. Uh, like if there's anything as far as the social level, I think it would be like for me personally, again, I can only talk about my personal experience and my like own mental health.
Yeah.
But I think the big thing there would be like I guess imposter syndrome, where I like feel like I'm lying to all my like close friends and family about who I am or stuff like that.
What do you mean by that, or why?
Well, like the like my it's it's the oh god I just had social class. I just like graduated from social class and I've already forgotten all the terminology. But, it's that what's it called? The like the bubbles within bubbles of like where you have your own self,
You
like
mean
where
like
you
a
keep
Venn diagram, or?
I don't know. See, it was in Danish, so I don't know.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like, well, you have yourself, you have your like close, like, like life partners almost, like, right? That
Okay.
you really trust everything with, and then you have your family, perhaps,
Sure.
and then friends, and then
Okay. Yeah.
the world. And like the imposter syndrome, then I guess would come from feeling like I can't let people in to like the deepest recesses of my like as dumb as that sounds. I realize like of course you're not supposed to, right? But it's like, oh, I'm actually like I'm hiding this terrible person, and if they knew that, then they wouldn't rely on me. Like again,
Do you think you have
I
like some
don't.
sort of like internal urges that are like very far off the norm or something? Like, are you secretly wanting to like murder or kill people or crazy shit? Or
Well, like I can become very what's the word? Misanthropic, I think is the word.
sure.
I can like, but nothing like that's actually like we can save that for the bonus meme. But like on a personal level, like my own uh mental faculty, how I know my own mental state. No, I wouldn't. I don't feel like doing that, any more than any other person, like road raging or something like that. Just
Sure.
something like that. So in not in that sense, like all of this also like another caveat here, but like it needs to be said, like depression really like and I know this really fucks with your head. Like it's to such like an extreme degree, like where you have to like you become your own worst enemy. Like you think that like no one wants to be around you, or you can't contribute anything. And
Mhm.
I think that's also where like the imposter syndrome like stems from, is like that like completely fucked up
Mhm.
mental train that I like have gotten on because of my depression.
Sure.
Yeah. So it's just, yeah, I really can't like comment a lot on this level of
Mhm.
the discussion. You all know the most like relevant, realistic. Like it really stems more from a what would you call it, a philosophical area, I guess. Yeah.
Like you think you've thought your way into a depression, or?
Um. Well, possibly. Like it's been so many years ago. Like
Mhm.
I'm not really sure.
Okay.
I like it almost like it's, it's it's multi-layered, so to speak.
Mhm.
Like so yeah. Um yeah. I yeah, I'm kind of trying to steer it away from stuff that I don't feel like I could like um what would you call it, responsibly comment on.
I mean, you can
Like
always
I
like it's always okay to give your personal experience with something, right? With the understanding that maybe other people won't have a similar experience. I think that's fine.
yeah, well, again, I kind of come back to the whole like I'm like my experience is very like, biased. It's through the glasses of like a pretty like mentally disturbed person, so to speak.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
so
then you can just
I don't
talk
know.
about your experiences. That's fine. You don't have to say like this is depression in general or this is this in general, right? You can just talk about how you feel. It's okay.
Yeah, okay. Um, yeah, I guess. Um, well, I don't know. uh, I think on some level you're right, but at the same time, yeah, I don't know. Um, but I guess I can speak a little bit. Like if we can, I guess I can go into the whole like antidepressants meme I talked to you about.
Sure, yeah, go for it.
So basically, I started on antidepressants some 6 months ago, I think.
Uh-huh.
And honestly, like it made me like relate to you. Like you once discussed like you didn't really respect like psychedelic drugs.
Mhm.
Like you didn't like you like understood the science behind it, but like you were like, it's right.
Mhm.
It's and it really like because it really made me like understand your point of that, because that like SSRIs has been one of the most uh I- 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 out of this world experiences I've ever had,
Mhm.
like where I've felt like I haven't had like any control over my own emotions. And this is where it kind of gets into that misanthropic talking point, where like on my second batch basically there was a side effect of increased anger and
Irritability, yeah.
irritability. Yeah. um and like I experienced that to like the nth degree, so to speak.
Sure.
um yeah. That was really crazy.
Yeah, a lot of people report experiences with SSRIs as being pretty intense. You can have like wild ups, wild downs. They can depress your sexual desire. There's a lot of good and bad,
Yeah.
yeah, that can happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. That it can.
Um,
um.
but yeah, so I guess what about it though?
Like SSRIs
Yeah,
or
or I mean, I guess how many different ones have you tried so far? Just one,
oh
or?
well, my 6 month like my first batch was a 2 month period
Hmm.
where
Can you,
like
real
yeah.
quick, so I understand because you're using a word here, batch. What do you mean when you say that?
Oh, like the thing that was prescribed to me. Like there's a bunch of different kinds of SSRIs that can be prescribed to you.
Yeah. So when you talk about a
Uh,
batch, you just mean like one type of medication and then another type of
yeah,
medication.
yeah.
Okay,
Sorry,
gotcha. Okay,
sorry.
gotcha.
Yeah.
No problem.
But yeah, the first one, yeah, that lasted like 2 months. Basically, there I just that was I basically didn't I lost all motivation to do anything, and that's why that stopped. And then
You were
uh,
okay, and then just so that I'm ultra clear from me and my audience,
yeah,
obviously nothing that I say should ever be taken over the word of a doctor or anything, right? Okay, just making sure people understand it.
yep, yep.
Your
Completely
doctor
agree.
prescribed you on an SSRI for only 2 months.
Yeah, because my she took me off because my reaction was so extreme.
Okay,
Like
okay, gotcha. That she thought it was an emergency to remove you from that drug before
yeah,
something
yeah.
bad.
Like
Okay, gotcha.
I basically said I don't have any motivation to do anything, and I feel very like mellow, so to speak. Like I just couldn't like I had no emotional response
Oh,
basically.
okay. Because usually for
Uh,
SSRIs, I think the adjustment period to an SSRI is like 6 to 8 weeks. Um,
yeah.
yeah.
It is.
So it seems weird that after like 2 months you would just pull someone off when they've like just gotten,
Yeah.
unless you're having
Well,
like a really severe reaction to it, in which case I could understand it.
yeah. Well, what she told me is the first like prescription was it had a startup period of a month, uh, and then I do want to say like it did have some very positive effects, like here with the COVID thing, with the quarantines and stuff. Like I was basically able to drag myself through some exams like I really don't think I would be able to otherwise. So they definitely like complete um, disclaimer here: SSRIs definitely work, and they can have some like very positive effects, uh, as in my case. Um, yeah, the second batch uh, was basically it was supposed to be a milder form of SSRI. It wasn't supposed to
Have as many
react as much.
severe, yeah, sure.
Yeah, for example, like the what would you call it? The physical reaction, such as like migraines and stuff, wasn't nearly as bad. Um, but I definitely think like I had the stronger reaction to that one, which is like kind of funny. Like again, it's weird to sit here and like talk about like my particular because like it's just now my brain feels like this, and that's weird, right? Like I can't really like
Well, I mean,
what would you call it?
SSRIs are like an incredibly personal thing, right? Like doctors have to go through different prescriptions for different patients, and then your individual experience on those drugs, like your self-reporting, is going to be like the key, probably, to guide your psychiatrist into like prescribing stuff. So like, it's okay to have like a
Yeah.
personal experience with a drug. It's not like SSRIs aren't like, oh, well, when you take this will happen for sure. Like that's not how that medication works, you know?
No, not at all. Like that's also some like it was actually funny how much she like sounded like you when you've talked about this, because like it was basically the exact same thing that she said.
Sure.
Like
I just repeat
it
whatever I like hear from doctors or whatever I've seen like said by
yeah,
doctors. So,
yeah. Yeah. Um yeah. Okay. I don't really think like there's anything else I remember much, like except for like I can talk about like one side effect of the second prescription was that was the very strong reaction. I actually think I already said that. But basically like any input of the outside world like completely set me off in both like a positive and a negative
yeah, mood
route.
swingy. Yeah.
Like yeah, very, very extremely mood swingy. Um, yeah, there was like, yeah, you just again affirming what you said about your own experience with like
LSD.
psychedelics, not
Yeah.
exactly the same, but like not being in control of your own like mind.
Hmm.
Like, it feels very it's very strange to experience, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm kind of sorry. I am jumping around here, but just if it's okay, I would kind of like to go into the existential part of it.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Um, so when it comes to the existential part of it, like when we like remove ourselves from like the social what do you call it? Like even like thinking about it, not even taking it into account.
Hmm.
Like if we just say, okay, here we have some humans, and they're like uh, they're a species, and we're part of that species. So how do we like maximize like well-being, so to speak? Like this is this is gonna be really cringy, and I'm sorry, but like I was a Sam Harris stan
Yeah, that's
some
fine. Sam
like
Harris has a lot of fans. Yep,
2
so does
years
Jordan Peterson.
before
That's
I
okay. Yeah.
before I
Not
like ran
everything
into
he
you.
says is bad, by the way. Like, I think
No,
Sam
no,
Harris
no,
has a lot of good. I tend to focus on the bad. I mean, that's the same thing with Jordan Peterson. So yeah, that's fine.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
But basically, it was like something that really like has stuck with me. That he said is like one of the most like things that we can like understand like across all species and all like existence, like existence across
Hmm.
all like organisms is like pain,
Sure.
suffering, so to
Hmm.
speak. And
I don't know if that's true, but okay, go ahead.
yeah, see, it is it again.
Hmm.
um,
Well,
but
I think that there's probably like some basic level of like physiological pain, and then some sort of like physiological or neurological adaptation to such. Right? There's a sensation or
mm,
a stimulus that you feel, and then in order to minimize damage to the body, you need to get away from that. I think that that very basic type of pain is probably like pretty ubiquitous throughout all animals, and maybe even
mm,
plants. Fuck. Um,
yeah,
but I think that humans probably have a much deeper capacity for suffering that a lot of other animals just can't imagine. It would be my
mm,
guess. Like, I don't know. I guess I'm guessing quite a bit here, but I would be surprised if like dogs or cats could really have like existential crises, or like a lack of feeling of purpose, or like stuff like that. I don't think that most animals are thinking on that level.
I don't know, dude. Have you
Okay.
seen those videos of the dogs on the graves and shit? Real
Huh.
sad shit.
Well, I mean, like, death is a pretty well understood thing, but
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah, never mind.
Um, uh, yeah, I agree. Like I do think like it's basically a what would you call it, a consequence of our evolution.
Cognitive, yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, cognizant. What? Wait, what did you say?
Our cognitive capacities give us the ability to be
Cognitive.
much
Yeah,
sadder
yeah,
than
yeah,
other things. Yeah, probably.
yeah. Actually, real quick, just on a side tangent.
Hmm.
Like, do you think we could like if everything is like exists in the like I remember you I don't I don't remember the details around it, but like your switch to dualism. I don't know if you still believe this, but like the whole like if everything is on this plane of existence, would could we technically just call like mental pain physical pain in some way?
Um, well, I mean, we have different words for things because they describe different things. I mean, in some ways, things are similar, but like the reason why we create words is to distinguish one thing from another. And mental pain
Yeah,
seems to be distinct from physical pain, even if they have a lot of like similarities, or might have a similar overlying category, right? Like, we can
yeah,
have like a category of pain, and then beneath that category, we can have like physical pain and mental pain.
yeah,
Sure. So, I mean, like, yeah, in ways they're similar for sure. I think anybody would acknowledge that. But then in ways, of course,
yeah,
they're different as well.
yeah. Yep. Um. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just
No,
I'm
you're
kind
fine.
of like I'm processing,
Sure.
sort of. Um, uh, yeah. Um, I guess. Yeah. I guess like. Okay. So just real quick, getting back on track with the whole existential shit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I guess my big like my the big point for me is basically that like okay, so like we can better ourselves, right? We can like make society better for all of us, and do a lot of good shit in that sense.
Sure.
But like I don't know, it's this is gonna come off as so tippy.
Okay.
But
You're fine. Go ahead.
basically like if there's no purpose to our existence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like what is the point of like building up our societies? What is the point of like what is the point of like enduring and letting others in the future endure?
Mm-hmm.
Like like is there any like other than just some like I guess what would you call it? Like abstract like future experience.
I mean, I guess in some existential sense, right? The point is kind of whatever you want it to be. I mean, it's kind of up to us to figure that out, right?
Yeah.
Probably one of the shitty things about our minds is that we have the ability to think quite a bit, and we have a lot of free time these days. We're not farming, we're not hunting, we're not gathering berries. We're pretty far removed from our original environments.
Yeah.
So our brains, set against us can kind of come into some weird questions. One of
Yeah.
those being like, what is our purpose?
Mm.
My guess is going to be that the more idle time you have in your life, the more you're kind of left to think about that, and the
Yeah.
less satisfying it's going to be to think about it. Because I mean,
Yeah.
as far
Yeah.
as I'm aware, we haven't found any like cosmic tablets that have like purpose inscribed on them or anything, right? We kind of have to figure that out for ourselves. And I don't know, it
Mm.
seems to just be an extension of like, well, what do we enjoy doing, right? Like,
Yeah.
we have natural states that we can exist in where we're happy or sad. It seems like we generally prefer to be happy. I mean, kind of logically follows, right? Happiness is things we enjoy, sadness is things we don't enjoy. So, I mean, it
Yeah.
seems like if form follows function, I mean, if anything, we should probably just do things that make us happy, you know?
Yeah. Well, following that like train of thought about like what makes us happy,
Mm-hmm.
then I would add the like what makes us unhappy, so to speak. Like I like um I think I can completely follow the point of like okay, you basically just like maximize your own happiness, right? Like just like try to like well I sorry I make this sound like
Mm-hmm.
like you just do something, but like if we experience more things like on average
Mm-hmm.
that makes us feel negative emotions and by
Mm-hmm.
extension like purpose in life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Negative life purpose
Yeah.
feeling like abstract thing.
Mm-hmm.
um like the basically it I guess in the end I'm just asking like does my train of thought make sense when like I take myself into consideration where I'm very much based in, and again, I don't want it to sound like this is gonna be like,
Yeah, you don't have to overqualify anything. Don't worry. Go ahead.
yeah, like, does it make sense when you take into account the kind of ego I have built up where my ego is like completely reliant on others' well-being, so to speak, around me. Um, well, not completely, of course, but like in a majority of the case, is very reliant on like good good shit good shit happening to like my friends and family and like people at large,
Mhm.
right? Uh, like does it make sense that I come to this kind of like net negative
Yeah, I mean,
experience?
it's possible that you can, but like the question is like, can you change that, right? Do you think you have the capacity to change your outlook on life, or do you think you're absolutely dead set stuck here and like nothing is going to change and it has to like?
Um, well,
I mean, I imagine
I'm
you
not.
weren't suicidal since age 1, right? Like you haven't always been like this, right?
No. It was definitely a thing I grew into, of course.
Yeah. So I mean, if you've
Um,
grown into something like this, it seems to reason that you could be able to grow out of it, right?
of course, of course. Like also, like I just want to like I want to wait. What? I just I wanted to be put out there that like I don't think everything is like completely useless. I think there's like basically that is gonna be my purpose. Like if I actually turn this thing around, which of course I hope for. Like that's why I started like all this therapy shit. It's basically gonna be like like turning the whole thing with like, okay, I find happiness in other people's happiness. So basically like, okay, I'm basically gonna maximize that by I don't know, becoming a social worker, I guess, or something like that, where I can help people, right?
Yeah, I guess.
uh
Although I mean, it seems to me like this is like you're going about it the other way, I guess. Or I mean, if this is the advice you've been given by people, maybe this is a better way to do it. But like, it seems like more what you should probably address is not feeling like your life is worthless or that you feel fucking horrible if other people around you aren't necessarily doing good. That seems to be like the big problem, or I would imagine.
oh yeah, well, like that's like yeah, it's in, I guess, in the works, so to speak, like getting some help on that front. Like
Okay.
right now I only have like a psychiatrist, not a psychologist on board. So like a psychiatrist is basically just, at least I'm not sure about anywhere else, but at least in Denmark, it's basically just like diagnosing, talking a little bit, and then prescribing, like uh, for the most part, like seeing if a prescription can help, uh, combat the depression, so to speak.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Um,
I'm. I don't know how it works in Denmark, but I imagine like a psychiatrist is probably as capable of addressing your like emotional needs as like a psychologist would be, right? It's just a psychiatrist is capable of prescribing medication.
well, as like as it was told to me by another, like I had a psychologist on top at one point. That's a long ago, but anyways, it's basically like that's not really not what would you call it? Like you can be lucky and get a psychiatrist that really knows their shit, and goes into also the more like what would you call it? Existential point
Oh,
where,
that sounds like it'd
like
be hard to get for a psychologist or a psychiatrist. Like you're getting into weirder territory that I imagine a lot of them probably don't deal with very often. Yeah.
oh no, maybe I misspoke here, but like basically the existential crisis
Uh huh.
stuff,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I imagine that would be pretty
You
weird
might
for a
be a
lot of
probably,
therapist people to deal
yeah,
with, right?
maybe, but
Or I
yeah.
guess it depends on what you mean by that. I guess if you're just talking about like, I'm sorry, that might not necessarily be true. If you're talking about like just like a lack of purpose in life, or like
Hmm.
a lack of feeling like you belong, then maybe that's probably more. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
No, you're right. I probably do like seek that, like I just probably I on some level why I like seek you out, because you're a smart guy and I want to hear your perspective, right?
Okay.
And I guess like
What am I supposed to do with
mentally
this
I
obelisk,
then
guys?
I kind of put psychologists in that camp, I guess. Because I do agree. Like you like like it's not exactly a job requirement for like a psychologist to like know every like modern philosopher and their point of view on existence and why we're here and
Sure.
what
To
we're
be
talking.
clear, I also don't know every modern
No,
philosopher or
no,
have.
yeah,
But
that's why like constantly like throughout this I want to make it clear like I really don't like I don't rely on you to be like the arbitrator
yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, I understand. I understand.
of what's what right and wrong.
Mhm.
Like again, that's like why I kind of went in. Like I referenced your friend in the past. Like I really don't like that's not your role in my mind, anyways.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. I understand.
Yeah. Uh. Yeah. I honestly, I think this was I was perhaps a little bit overwhelmed here. I don't think I have like much else to contribute. So I mean, if there's anything like if you have any questions or anything like you think I could, if you have any like thing you could think that I might like have an answer to, you can go ahead, and otherwise we can just call it a night.
Yeah, I guess when I think about this, there are things in your life that you probably enjoy doing, right? Things that make you happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is true. This should be true of almost everybody. I think we have the ability to pursue those things. I think that sometimes our minds can get like pretty fucked for whatever reason, whether it's like neurochemical fuck ups or whether it's just thought process fuck ups or bad habit fuck ups. It seems like we probably don't normally exist this way, that like the default state of a human mind is to be somewhat healthy, somewhat happy. Otherwise, why the fuck would we be here? Or why would we have made it this far?
Yeah.
So I guess when I look to like addressing problems like this, the idea of, for me, I guess as an atheist, like death is a very like permanent thing to me. And the idea of kind of like throwing in the towel and just saying like, okay, fuck it, like I'm done, I'm killing myself. That prospect is very unappealing to me. Because it seems like there should be something I can do otherwise to change my position. And I feel like I would kind of owe it to myself to figure out, like, okay, well, am I doing everything I can do to try to like reset my mind so that I'm back like in a healthier state of mind? Yeah. The big three things that I always like figured would like, at the very least, like your diet should be as close to perfect as possible. You should be getting like at least like an hour of physical activity, like walking or something a day. You don't have to go to the gym, just like go walk outside. And then like make sure that you're doing your best to like make sure that you're sleeping at least like 7.5 hours a night. And then like as long as you start hitting like those three things, if you can get your mind in an area where you can start to like think differently, then I don't know, you like take steps forward there. But it just seems like pretty unfulfilling for me to think of it in terms of like suicide. Like I'm basically like, okay, well, fuck this, I'm done. That seems like a really unsatisfying answer to me.
I can. I of course I get that. I also like even like not even like I can also base it in like my own like weird thought process where it's like I can also like what would you call it, externalize it, so it like even if I don't have that, I owe it to myself. I feel like I owe it to like the people around me to try at least a little bit. That's probably like that's not the most what we call it, healthy outlook on things. Like you should probably do it for yourself first and foremost. But like as a
I mean, other people can be a vehicle to realizing that, right? Like if you're doing things for other people because they make you feel happy. I mean, in a roundabout way, you ultimately are kind of like doing something for yourself, right? Yeah. I mean, I think it's important to realize it.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Destiny. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Good luck, bud.
I appreciate it. I hope it was good memes.
Yeah, no problem. You're fine.
Yeah. yeah, I won't take any more of your time, and have a good stream, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot, dude. Have a good one.
Hey.
Bye. iDubbbz content cops are way more involved than Leafy's shit ass, like, here's 3 random clips, isn't